me. Don't do that.
Uh-huh.
Don't do
You
that.
got
Okay. There we go. All right. I'm just going to check. Yep. Shows live. Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in just 2 minutes. So give us just a second, but welcome to the Coach's Kitchen. I'm so excited to have you here. Yay. And let's see, I am going to Dana. And then Dana, if you wanna, I'm just tagging you so you know where they are
awesome.
on both of them. And then we'll get started. I'm gonna give it just one more minute for folks to join in, and then we will get started. I hope everyone is having an amazing, amazing Tuesday. I know that I am having a great day, but I am super excited about the holidays. So that way, I can get some rest. But yeah, definitely very excited about the upcoming holidays, but even more excited tonight about my special guest, who I've known a couple years. So we will get started here in just a short second, just to give people time to come on. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, welcome to the Coach's Kitchen, everyone, where breakthrough is always on the burner. I'm your host, Leslie Nicole, life strategist, life coach, and your favorite soul chef. This is where ambitious women like you come to unpack what's simmering beneath the surface. From purpose to power moves, healing to high stakes leadership, because you know what, ladies, this is not fast food healing. It's the slow, sacred work that sticks. So pull up a seat, bring your whole self, and let's stir something real. Now, tonight in this episode of The Coach's Kitchen, we are talking to a phenomenal woman who made a bold move, leaving her vice presidential role. Yes, I said VP role, to build something of her own. In this honest, unedited conversation, we're diving into the highs, lows, and lessons of walking away from executive life and letting go of titles to juggling motherhood and entrepreneurship. Real talk for any woman standing at the crossroads of what was and what's next. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to Dr. Dana S. Cummings. Where you at, girl? There she is.
I love that.
Hello. Well, welcome, Dana. She is an entrepreneur, business owner with over 2 decades of experience leading or I should say, leading in nonprofit and higher education spaces. Most recently, serving as the VP of Institutional Advancement at Franklin College, where she oversaw all fundraising, alumni engagement, and communications for the institution. Now, prior to your time at Franklin, you worked for DePaul University. You are a fellow Tiger.
Go
Yes.
Tigers. Yes,
And then you also worked at IU Bloomington. Go Hoosiers.
that's right.
Leading teams and raising funds in support of scholarships, capital projects, endowment, and operating needs. However, just last year in August, shortly after completing your doctorate, Dr. Cummings launched two, not one, but two new businesses. Dana Starr Cummings, she calls DSC Consulting, and is it Synovus? Am I pronouncing that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Synovus Ranch. each created to allow clients to benefit from Dana's 20 plus years of experience in a variety of fields and industries. And while DSC Consulting is focused on providing fundraising, strategic planning, and team development support, Sonova's branch is focused on preparing solar grazing plans for developers and individuals pursuing solar farm projects in Indiana and beyond. Girl, you're doing a whole lot. Dana lives with her husband and three children on their 40-acre sheep ranch where they happily breed and raise. Here we go.
This is it. You ready?
Ha, ta 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 ta.
Close. That was close. It's Katahdin.
Katahdin, where
Katahdin.
she raises Katahdin sheep and chickens. I just think that's so hilarious because I have no idea. And I've never heard that word before. So you just educated
The
me.
new word.
So,
There you go.
yes, Dana, hello. Welcome to the Coach's
Hello.
Kitchen.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. I'm so excited about tonight. I have been following your journey in for years, actually. It's way before I even started working at DePaul myself. Um, but before we get into your story, I just want to just go right on in and say, Dana, when you hear the phrase, when the corner office isn't enough,
Uh-huh.
what comes to mind for you?
Um, well, lots. But I think, really that's it. It really, at some point, I think, for some of us is no longer enough. And so for me, and you spoke a little bit about, my time in that corner office. So I've had a variety of different roles, variety of different leadership roles over the years. Most recently, a vice president at Franklin College. It was a wonderful 6 years. And then I think, at some point you start to get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, where you kind of
Mhm.
know, maybe you wish you didn't, but you kind of do. You kind of know that, yeah, you're ready for what's next. You're ready for that growth, and you're ready for more. So, and I think that comes to different people in different ways and at different times. But for me, over the course of my career, I would say, yeah, usually I kind of get that feeling in the pit of my
Yeah.
stomach, and I know that it's time to start thinking about my next move.
Sure, sure. And so let's just go way back.
Yeah.
So, what can you just tell us a little bit about the trajectory of your career, like how you started, how you got into the vice presidential role?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say perhaps a little bit of a late bloomer. So I didn't get my first sort of, real job, if you will,
Hmm.
until I was in my late 20s, I think. I was like 28, 29 years old.
Pretty good, Dana. I don't know about the late
Yeah.
bloomer.
All right. Well, I felt like I was getting a little bit of a late start back then, but I felt that pressure, so I caught up pretty quickly.
Right.
I think because I felt, maybe that I was a little bit behind some of my peers, and so I started working at
Right.
the Indiana University Foundation
Okay.
way back when, and I just absolutely fell in love immediately with that type of
Hmm.
work. I had a little cubicle in the back of the IU Foundation in Bloomington, and I thought it was just my dream job. Everyone around me was so committed to what they were doing. And they were so passionate and they were so good to me. I had so many wonderful
Hmm.
mentors while I was there. So that was at Indiana University back in 2006, I think it was. And before I knew it, 10 years had gone by on that campus. I had worked in a variety of different roles, always having opportunities presented to me to take on more responsibility, additional leadership, which was always been something that I've been looking for in my career. And when I left Indiana University on the Bloomington campus in 2016, I had been there for about 10 years, as I
Okay.
said. And I was at that point running the development office for one of the units on the Bloomington campus, specifically the School of Optometry, and had a wonderful ride. Did a lot of different things along the way. I did a lot of frontline fundraising. I did a lot of strategy. I did a lot of leadership. I ran the Indiana University Student Foundation as director. So that's the group that does the Little 500. So had a lot of event
Ooh,
planning experience. I mean, yeah, Indiana University is kind of a big place, which is fun
we're in
because
the
it
red
gets
today for IU.
there you go. I know after the big win this past weekend, so exciting. So I had a really great run at IU Bloomington. I'll always be really tremendously grateful for the good start that I was given there. And again, so many people who really I felt poured into me as
Hmm.
mentors over my time there. And then when I left IU, I went to our alma mater, DePaul University for a couple of
Mhm.
years as associate vice president for development. And that was a big step for me. I was overseeing a huge team, just
Mhm.
under 30 people, which was, yeah, a big group of folks. A really great opportunity for me. I got to be part of a $385 million fundraising campaign. And having an opportunity to work for one's alma mater is a really unique
Absolutely.
experience and opportunity. And then got a call about a position that was opening up at Franklin College as vice president. And that was really my goal, was
Mhm.
to achieve a vice presidency by the time I was 40. And so I just barely made it. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And so, yeah, got that, started that job in 2018, which
Mhm.
is when my family and I moved to the Franklin area so that I could take the job at Franklin College as vice president and did that job for 6 years. Had a wonderful ride there as well. I'm really proud of everything the team and I were able to accomplish while I was there. Lots and lots of really extraordinary people I got to work with
Mhm.
and still stay in touch with. And obviously, we're still in the community as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, and that was 6 years, and I left in 24, March of
Okay.
2024. So yeah, it's been a wonderful ride. And you asked sort of, how did I arrive at a vice presidency? I would really point to, I think, a lot of the wonderful people along the way who kind of guide me, steered me, and poured into me. I think as mentors. Very grateful to all of them.
Yes, mentors. I mean, that we could talk about that too, but
Yeah,
mentors,
yeah,
sponsors, all of those folks, I mean, they just not only hold us accountable, but they certainly help guide the way in our careers.
absolutely.
So you reached the vice presidential role by the age that you were 40.
Yeah.
What was the moment or moments when you realized, you know what? The role, the title, the success you've worked so hard for no longer fit for Dr. Dana S.
Yeah.
Cummings. I just have
Yeah.
to say it. I have to say it.
Uh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. It's still new, so I'm still sort of
Yes, and I'm
sometimes
so proud of
somebody says,
you.
"Thank
So
you."
proud.
If somebody says Dr. Cummings, sometimes I'm like, Who are they talking? Who are they talking to?" Oh, yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Uh,
That's you.
yeah, that's me. I did. I worked on my doctorate for 4 of the 6 years that I was at Franklin, and then had the opportunity to really dive headfirst into my dissertation after
Mhm.
March of 2024. So I had a few months of kind of being a full-time doctoral student, which was a great experience, and so I'm really proud of that work product. And I will say that was sort of part of it, I think, really have an opportunity to dive into that work.
Mhm.
My dissertation was all about women working in higher education, pursuing leadership roles.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of time to think and reflect about sort of, my path thus far and what I wanted to accomplish still sort of in the
Mhm.
second half, if you will, of my career. I don't know necessarily there was a specific moment per
Yeah.
se, but I do think, yeah, early in the year of 2024, I started to really ask questions of
Mhm.
myself about growth,
Mhm.
about alignment, and about opportunity. And
Mhm.
I would say, opportunity costs, I would say as well. And I can't take credit for this idea. This was sort of spoken to me by a
Mhm.
mentor and a colleague when I was thinking about, hey, is this the right time, and what might be the right time? Really asking myself this question about opportunity. So I
Mhm.
think for a lot of us, and I can certainly say that this has been me in the past,
Mhm.
um, the inclination is to ask yourself the question, can I stick it out? Am I
Mhm.
tough enough to sort of hang in there another year or another year and a half or another semester or whatever the case may be for your particular, circumstance?
Right.
Um, and I would say that that might not always be the right question to be asking. And I was really, really sort of taken when this was spoken to me, this sort of idea about asking yourself, if I stay another year, what will change?
Mhm.
But if I leave in another year, what becomes
Mm.
possible?
Mm.
And so this idea that it's not always about, am I sort of tough enough or gritty enough to keep hanging in there
Mhm.
and keep surviving, in this role. Um, but but really thinking about what is the opportunity cost if I do continue to stay.
Right.
If I stay another year, think about what I might have been able to accomplish in that
Mhm.
year if I made
Mhm.
the bold leap to turn the page and seek out what's next.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, a lot of those questions, were in the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
And I've never been risk averse. I'm
Mhm.
just not wired that way. I'm not a risk averse person, particularly professionally. And so, I've always felt that, hey, I'll figure it out. And
Yeah.
so when it was time, it was time.
Yep.
And so, I ripped the Band-Aid off pretty quickly and turned
You
the
dove
page.
straight in.
I did.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
dove straight in.
Yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, and and everybody's timeline is different and everybody's circumstances are different. And I
Mhm.
totally acknowledge that. I don't think there's necessarily a one size fits all approach for
Absolutely.
folks. But I would say to folks, I think, who might be thinking about it, when the right time might be, or is this the right
Mhm.
time? Really asking yourself those questions, I think, about growth, about
Mhm.
alignment, and about opportunity,
Yes.
um, are really important.
So when you say opportunity cost, were you thinking about you? Or were you thinking about Franklin College? Were you thinking about your colleagues? Like, were you thinking about your family? Like, were there other factors or people that you were thinking about as you're making
Well,
the
I mean,
decision?
maybe a little bit all the above,
Yeah.
quite frankly. I mean, I think, for me, when I think about, this idea of opportunity cost,
Mhm.
I would say this. I think there is a cost in
Mhm.
leaving,
Mhm.
and I paid a certain there's an accountability there.
Yeah.
So there's certainly a cost associated with that in making the
Mhm.
decision to leave.
Yeah.
Um, I miss the people
Mhm.
tremendously. I'm a people person. I miss being walking down the hallway on the way to a meeting and encountering someone I haven't seen and having a chat. I miss meetings and brainstorming sessions, with my teammates. I miss all of that. I miss the help desk a lot. I really miss tech support because now I got to try to figure this stuff out on my own. Um, so there is a cost,
Yeah.
I think, to making the decision to leave. However, what I would submit to you, and anyone who's sort of thinking through these questions is there's a cost to staying as well.
Mhm.
There is a cost to staying.
Mhm.
If you have that feeling in the pit of your stomach and you know that it's really
Mhm.
probably time
Yeah.
to move on for any number of reasons, and no blame or shame. It's
Mhm.
sometimes it's just time.
Yeah.
And if you know in the pit of your stomach that it's time, but you choose not to leave for fear or sort of some sort of a sense that that you just can't make that move at
Right.
that particular time. There's a cost to that as well,
Mhm.
because life is short. And
Mhm.
so if you think about hanging on for another year and a half, or whatever the case might be for you, you're
Mhm.
missing out on that year to year and a half that you could be doing the next thing, getting
Absolutely.
started on your next opportunity, starting that business that you've been dreaming about starting,
Yeah.
writing that book that you really want to write and it's been on your
Absolutely.
bucket list, whatever the case might be. There is a cost to staying. So I think sometimes that component gets lost. So that's what I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, when I talk about opportunity cost.
And when I even think about opportunity cost, I think of grief as well. So like
Yes,
it's also
absolutely.
like you're leaving, like you say, you miss the people. I miss my people.
Yes,
At DePaul,
yes,
I miss my team. I
yes.
miss leaving my house, not necessarily every day.
Uh-huh,
Because
uh-huh.
I do love my flexibility of working at home. So let me make sure that's clear.
Yes.
But letting go of a title or letting go of a position, letting go of the people can sometimes feel like you're shedding a piece of yourself.
No question.
So was there anything, did, let me phrase it this way. What did you have to unlearn
Mm.
about who you are and what makes you valuable? Did you have to
Well,
unlearn anything?
I think that is such a profound question. And I would say, yes, definitely there are things that I had to unlearn. I'm still unlearning them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still finding my way through this really sort of massive change
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
my professional life, which spills over certainly into our personal lives. It's
Yeah.
been really a big transformation for me over the last year and a half, and I'm still absolutely finding my way through it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I would say in terms of what I've had to unlearn, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
think for the first 20 years of my career, I think I allowed other people to define what success is,
Mm-hmm.
and what it should look like for me. And I think finally, I in my mid 40s, I reached a point where I was no longer willing to let
Mm-hmm.
other people tell me
That's right.
what success should be for me. But that's I have to tell you, that's been difficult. I mean, that has
Mm-hmm.
been absolutely an unlearning process for me. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say though, that's the case for so many women
Yeah.
out there. And what comes to mind for me, and maybe some listeners tonight, what comes to mind for me is a Forbes article that I just came across,
Mm-hmm.
um, that you may have seen, or some of our listeners may have seen, about women and entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2024, there has been this mass surge of women
Absolutely.
becoming entre. It's remarkable,
It
and
is.
like nobody's talking about this. And I feel like I want to shout it. I want to shout it from
Shout
the
it to the
rooftop.
rooftop.
Yes, I mean this is like big, big news,
Yeah.
that we need to acknowledge, I think, and recognize, and even celebrate that in 2024, one out of every two businesses in the United States was started by a woman. One out of
Mm-hmm.
every two, and that is the highest rate on record, according to a 2025 business formation study.
Mm-hmm.
And between 2019 and 23, the number of women-owned businesses increased at nearly, I love this part, double the rate of their male counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a real sort of, I think, momentum. I think
Yeah.
there is sort of something happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so much a part of that. I feel very affirmed to be sort of part of that. I think, sometimes you're thinking like, am I the only one who's experiencing all of this? And so
No.
when I read an article like that, with all of this, really great information and well documented, well researched work,
Right.
again, it's very affirming for me. I think that there is really something afoot
Mm-hmm.
in this country, particularly for women who are
Mm-hmm.
interested in defining success on their own terms. Thank you very much.
Love it. Mic
Yeah.
drop. When you talk about success, right? So what did success mean for you then? And then what does success mean for Dana now?
Yeah, that's another profound, I think, profound question. Um, I think, for a long time,
Hmm.
I thought about success as title and as money.
Hmm.
Now, um, obviously, I think when you go into nonprofit work or, working in the higher education space where you and I have spent a lot of
Hmm.
time,
Hmm.
we're obviously not that motivated by money, or we probably would have done we would have done something else.
That's
You
so
know,
true.
yeah, we probably would have picked a different career path
Oh, that's so
way back
funny.
when. But everything's relative.
Hmm.
And so for me, I've never been overly driven by money, but
Hmm.
it is a barometer for sort of how well are you doing, Dana? I mean, what is your salary is telling, or has been for a very, very long
Hmm.
time for me.
Hmm.
And I'm just being perfectly, perfectly honest. Title and money, I think, for a long time really
Hmm.
told me how well I was doing or not doing.
Yep. Yep.
And so that drove me for many, many years to try to reach the
Hmm.
next level, and after that, the
Hmm.
next level, and after that, the next level. And I think what's changed about that, and I think there are a lot of reasons this happens to folks, and a lot of women I know around my age, is your priorities just change. They just do, and it's not necessarily good or bad. It just
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
Your priorities just really shift, I think, at a certain point. And so that flexibility becomes a lot more important.
Hmm.
That ability to call my own shots when it comes to how I spend my time becomes a lot more important.
Mhm.
The ability to have control over my own life
Yeah.
and the decisions that I make,
Yes.
and what I choose to work on, what I choose not
Mhm.
to work on. And so,
Mhm.
I've often said to folks recently, I've become a lot pickier
Yeah.
about a lot of things, I think, as I've, reached my mid 40s and beyond,
Mhm.
about a lot of things when it comes to how I spend my time.
Yeah.
I'm just unwilling to do things that I was willing to do when I was younger. And again, no shame or blame. I just think my priorities have really shifted.
Sure. Sure. So entrepreneurship, it can be freeing, it can be exposing, it can be
Mm.
daunting. There's so many things. There's so many ings.
Yes.
It can
Yes.
be,
Yes.
it could be, um, sometimes it's hard to shut off too, because
Yes.
you
Yes.
are the sole boss. You're running the thing.
Yes.
So what parts of yourself have you had to meet, maybe had to heal, fears you've had to face?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, how did you move through these? What have you faced, and how have you moved through it?
Oh, I love that question. I think this is what I would say probably.
Mhm.
I think a lot of my career over 20 years, I was really busy.
Mm.
And I was so proud of being so busy all the time. I just always, yeah, had something to do and I had a meeting to get to and I had, people who needed to talk to me. And so I think that is in some ways a protection that I was wearing, for a lot of years.
Mhm.
Because as long as you stay busy, you don't really ever have to contemplate anything very
Mhm.
deeply. You really don't have to
Mhm.
ask yourself those very deep and profound questions about why I'm here and what I'm trying to accomplish and where I want to go and what does all this mean, because you're just too busy for all of that. And so for me, I think what entrepreneurship has really forced me to do is to really sit through some quiet moments, a
Mhm.
lot of quiet moments where it's just me
Mhm.
and a blank screen or a book or a piece of paper. And I don't have a meeting coming up in 30 minutes. I've got some space in my calendar, and
Mhm.
I've got to figure out
There you go.
myself what all of this is going to become, what I want to become, what I want my business to become, how I want to be spending my time, how am I arriving at those decisions, and then ultimately, what does it all mean? What is my legacy? What do I want my legacy to be? And
Mhm.
so for me, I think I've had to sit in those quiet moments, and I'll be totally honest, hard for me
Mhm.
because I think for so many years I just kept myself really busy. Now I
Mhm.
don't want to give the impression that I'm not still busy,
Mhm.
but I would say it's a different kind of busy, and so I'm adjusting to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so self-doubt.
Yes,
Do you still deal with it?
yes, yes,
You do.
yes. Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I would say. Especially in this sort of new life that I've created for myself, this new personal and professional life that I've created
Mhm.
for myself.
Mhm.
I experience self-doubt all the time. I mean, and the reason
Mhm.
for that is if you would have told me even 5 years ago that I was going to be a business owner running, two businesses, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. I mean, I avoided business classes. I was like a humanities gal, all the way. I wanted to read a bunch of books and write a bunch of papers. I didn't want to deal with numbers and,
What?
things like that. So absolutely, self-doubt about, who do I think I am trying to run
Mhm.
two businesses? What do I know about this?
Yeah.
So that definitely creeps in, and I definitely do deal with it, and I continue to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm proud to say it's all going really well
Yeah.
in spite of the self-doubt. So yeah, we all deal with that.
Yeah. So how do you extend grace to yourself on the hard days?
I think. what helps me, a
Mhm.
few things help me. And first of all, I surround myself with really wonderful people like you. I have
Aw, you're
a,
so
I have
sweet.
a, yeah, I have a
You
lot of a really wonderful support network
too.
around me, and I can lean on them. I can call on them. I would say I use my support network, particularly my set of girlfriends. I have lots and lots of female friends. I don't know what I would do without them. I don't know where I would be
Mhm.
without my women friends who are going through many of the same things that I'm going through, whether it's professionally or personally, at this stage of life. So I lean on them a lot. I rely on them a lot. They inspire me to continue to move forward and put one foot in front of the other. So I would say definitely that. And then,
Mhm.
the other thing I do sometimes in my quiet moments when I might be spiraling a little bit about, oh, who do you think you are? You can't do this, I remind myself about everything I have done.
That's right.
And sometimes I sort of literally will say it out loud to
Mhm.
myself, about
Mhm.
everything that I have accomplished already in life and in my career. And I do believe, I really do believe
Mhm.
that I can do it. I believe in myself. I really do.
That's
And
awesome.
there are moments when we have setbacks and we think, oh,
Sure.
yeah, can I do it? Was I right
Mhm.
about that? But the truth is, in my gut, I know that I can do it. I know I can build something that I'm going to be really proud of. So, yeah, I mean, those are a few I would say, techniques, a little positive self-talk, and lots of girlfriends.
Uh, Girlfriends are good. Girlfriends are good.
Gotta have them.
So you're a friend, you're a mom, you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, you're the co-owner of a ranch. You have a lot of your sister, various identities, right?
Yes,
All
yes,
woven
yes.
together. So how do you stay connected to you in the
Mm,
midst of all of that? Because you've built a life where you wanted to progress through life, you wanted to achieve, you achieved greatness. You became a VP by the age of 40. I feel like our world tells us that worth is connected to achievement, structure, and titles.
yep.
So, but now your priorities have shifted. How do you stay connected to Dana?
I have always, even in my busiest times, I have always made it a priority
Hmm.
to find sort of little slices of time throughout the
Hmm.
day, little sort of moments of joy that I can appreciate. And I think this is different for everyone. But I do a couple of things pretty much every day. First, I'm usually the first one awake in my house.
Okay.
I think a lot of moms can relate to this
Yep.
because if you don't get up first, there are other people that are going to be sucking up all your time. So if you
Yep.
want any time to yourself at all, you got to set that alarm for pretty early. And I've done that for years and years. I get up first because I'm a coffee person. I like to have my coffee. I like to be quiet. I like to look at the news. I like to look at the calendar I have for that day, remind myself, what do I have going on
Mhm.
today? Take a spin through social media, see what, is popping up. So I like to have that sort of quiet time, that me time. And other people do different things. I know other people who like to work out first thing in the morning. That is not me.
That's
Um,
me.
okay.
If I don't
See,
do
I
it, it's not
admire that.
happening.
I totally admire people who work out first thing. I like to be quiet in the morning and sort of, yeah, just collect myself. I know people who like to meditate and things like that first
Mhm.
thing. I like to just have my coffee and quietly sort of orient myself to the day.
Absolutely.
And then at the other end of the day, I'm a nighttime exerciser.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I do that kind of it's kind of a strange time I think for most people, but actually kind of before bedtime is what works really well for me. And when I do my workouts, and we have a full sort of studio set up here at the
Mhm.
at the ranch, a little workout studio, it is sort of, and this has been the case for me for years and years as well. It's the time that I allow myself really for my thoughts to wander.
Mm.
because so much of the day, my brain is sort of the property of someone else or some project or, somebody who needs me and, something, somebody else is sort of, has access, to my brain. I'm using my brain for, for some purpose.
Mhm.
And during my workouts, I really allow my thoughts to just
Just go.
wander. Wherever they want to go, I allow them to go. And, an hour and 15 minutes or so, there's, a lot of the time when I have my best ideas, I think, during that span of time, because yeah, my brain's not occupied with
Right.
something sort of regimented or specific. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you spend time with yourself because there's so many times where we just get so busy that we forget about ourselves. And that happened to me too. I
Yes.
got so busy, so inundated with work. I just dropped everything.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
so I feel like there's a shift. I really do feel like there's a shift in our society. And you talked about it like the thing is like I've talked about this even with my girlfriends too. Like there's so many of us that have been on like all these boards and we have to go to this committee and we have to make sure we're part of this group and we have to make sure that we're on this board. We got to make sure that, we go to the PTA meeting or the PTO meeting, whatever it's called at the school, and we got to do all these things, right? What do you think we as women are being called to redefine when it
Mhm.
comes to work, worth, and identity?
Mhm. 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 Well, I think, we touched on it earlier, and
Mhm.
you've certainly touched on it. I do think we as women play
Mhm.
such an important role
Mhm.
in society. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in large part the ones that we're sort of the ones that make the whole thing go, or the ones who make
Mhm.
the whole thing operate, and continue to operate. And so I think that there is that shift you refer to, I think is absolutely happening. It's showing up in the Forbes article I mentioned. It showed up in spades in my dissertation, as well. I think this shift where women are beginning to say,
Mhm.
I've, with all due respect, had it up to here, really, with this corporate environment that doesn't serve me, that
Mhm.
doesn't serve me
Mhm.
any longer, doesn't serve me well.
Mhm.
And so I think women are becoming empowered.
Mhm.
To begin defining success on our own terms. And I think that things have shifted a lot. I think the traditional sort of corporate work structure is outdated. It doesn't necessarily serve modern life, perhaps
Mhm.
as it once did.
Mhm.
And so I think it's we as women who are the ones who are noticing that,
Mhm.
and sort of calling it out and saying, hey, we want to see changes. We want to see
Mhm.
changes made, and hope y'all can figure it out. But if not, we'll go figure it out ourselves.
Mhm.
We'll make our own job.
Yeah.
If you all aren't going to get it together and make a job that any of us want to do, we'll make our own jobs.
Yeah.
And we're seeing other women who are doing it as role models, right? And so I think that's something that's happened certainly with social media. One of the benefits of social media, it's not all good, of course, out there, but there are a lot of there are a lot of benefits, and I think that's one of them. You can see real women, and you can see them in real time.
Mhm.
Whatever their sort of entrepreneurial path has been, they're figuring it out, and we're able to see them and learn from them and determine that, hey, if she can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
So I do think that's contributing,
Mhm.
certainly to this shift that you
Mhm.
mentioned.
Yeah, I feel like COVID was such a pivotal time in our culture. I feel like it was like the stamp. It was like, okay, oh, we really can do this. We really can have flexibility and actually be
Exactly.
productive.
Yeah,
And I feel
exactly.
like, being a recruiter as well, there are men and women asking about like the culture and the flexibility and the ability to have an identity while
Yeah.
working.
Yes.
So I think, women are taking hold to that and they're like, you know what? I'm going to be a mom. I'm going to
Yeah.
be a wife. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be an executive, but
Yep.
on my own terms.
That's
So
right.
yeah, but on my own terms.
That's
That's the
right.
caveat.
That's the
That's the
key.
caveat. That's
That's
it.
the key. Yeah.
So
I
we're
love it.
almost done. I can't believe this time is
Oh,
like wrapping
wow.
up.
Went
But for the women listening
fast.
tonight,
Yes.
who feel stuck between a rock and a hard place. So they feel stuck between what was, they feel a pull towards what's next. What truth would you whisper to her right now?
Mm. Oh, what a beautiful question. Um, I would say, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I would call attention to that alignment
Mhm,
question.
mhm,
So if you're feeling that pull that you described so beautifully, Leslie, if the women who are listening are feeling that pull, I would
mhm,
encourage you to think about that alignment question. So is my current role aligned with who I'm becoming? Who
mm,
I'm becoming. So not who I am today, not who I am, and definitely not who I was when I took this job 3 years ago or 5 years ago or 9 years ago or whatever whatever the case may be, but
mhm,
who I'm becoming, because we're all becoming something, right?
mhm,
Somebody different. We're all evolving all the time. Because I will say, I think uh, people that I've known over the course of my career very frequently outgrow their roles before they admit it,
mhm,
before they're ready to admit it. And trust me, I get it, because admitting it is hard.
mhm,
Because when you do admit it, when you finally do admit it, and you
mhm,
sort of say it out loud and you put it out into the universe, that means all this hard, icky stuff is coming up next. You got to have hard conversations, and then you got to make a change, and you got to figure out what's next, and that's all hard. It's human nature.
mhm,
But I think. What I would say to women who are maybe having that feeling in the pit of your stomach is don't ignore it. Don't don't ignore it.
mhm.
It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. You need to listen to it, and you need to be open to what's next.
Yeah. We have one life to live. And I'm like, we all have a calling,
Amen.
but we all have a talent,
Right.
a unique talent and
That's
gifts,
exactly right.
and to embrace it.
Yep.
So, is there anything that I did not ask you that you feel like, oh my gosh, this is burning inside of me and I just have to share it?
Oh my goodness. You did such a wonderful, beautiful job. I feel like it was such a great conversation. It went by so
It did. It always
quickly.
does. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to
Yes.
talk another
I feel
half an
like I
hour.
could be talking with you for another 6 hours. We'd be here for we'd be here all night and still have lots to talk about. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to have this conversation with you, and to be able to be open and honest and transparent and share, my experiences with other women. So yeah,
Awesome.
thank
Well,
you.
Dr. Dana Cummings, my last question for you. What's next for you and
Mm.
how can people connect with you?
Oh gosh. Well, what's next for me is I'm so over the moon with my businesses, and I'm writing a book.
I
So
did not know that. Oh my
I'm sharing this. I'm putting this out into the universe.
God. You
That means
just put it, I was like, you just put it out in the universe.
that means I really better finish this thing. Yeah, so
Yes.
it is forthcoming. So when I think about what's next, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me. I'm so excited about this opportunity to write a book. It's been something that I've wanted to do since I was a little girl, and so I'm really yeah, I'm really eager to be able to get this thing out into the world. So that's forthcoming, either within the next year, maybe into early 2027. We'll see.
Mhm.
We're at the very early stages of that. So that's coming up. With DSC, we continue to build. I've brought on a wonderful teammate who is really the yin to my yang in a lot of ways. She's really good at stuff that I'm not so good at. And so she and I have had a lot of success already, just in the last few months. So as we kind of look ahead to 2026, and a new year, we have a lot of exciting things that are in the works, that are gonna, I think, really continue to build and grow our firm. So I'm excited about all of that. And please do get in touch with me. I love, love, love networking.
He
As I
does.
said, I
This is the
do.
truth.
This is true. Leslie can vouch for that. And again, when we touched on this a little bit, I think particularly when you're an entrepreneur and I'm working from my beautiful home office most of the time, I have to be intentional about getting out there and meeting people because I am a people person. I love people. And so I like to make space to meet people for coffee. And so usually if somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, do you want to get lunch or coffee?" I'm like, "Yes,
Yes.
yes." Yes. Do you want to meet
Same
me
in
tomorrow?
that retrospect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. So, so please do get in touch with me. I love to connect. And I think the easiest way is probably just through my website, which is danastarcummings.com. It's Star with two R's. And everything you need to know is on there. There's a form you can connect with me that way, or you can link out to my LinkedIn, and find my email address on there as well. So yes, I would love, love, love to hear from all of you.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Dana Starr Cummings, this is the first time I've ever called you doctor, but you earned it. We're going to call you doctor.
It's
So
new.
I wholeheartedly thank you for pulling
Thank you.
up a seat to the Coach's Kitchen. Thank you so much for being so transparent, authentic, and sharing your full truth. And to everyone else out there, thank you for pulling up a seat to the Coach's Kitchen. If today's conversation stirred anything in you, share the episode, tag me, tag Dana. I'm at Leslie Nicole Speaks and tck.live on IG. Let people know what's cooking, y'all. And if you're ready to stop carrying the weight alone, I'd love to walk with you through customized one on one coaching. I help women find clarity, courage, and confidence to show up for themselves, just like Dr. Dana Starr Cummings has done over the course of the past year. Remember, this is where wholeness gets cooked slowly, and girl, your breakthrough is always welcome here. Until next time, stay bold and stay hold and keep cooking.